Welcome all listeners, friends, and Curvists to the 90th episode of the Curve the Cube podcast. This is your host and producer, Jemmy from Flintstone Media. And speaking of Flintstone Media, I want to first off start by telling you guys some very exciting news. I'm growing this podcast thing into a network. In case you missed my announcements from the other day, I'm growing into a network, and it's going to be called the Flintstone Media Podcast Network. So go to FSMPodcastNetwork.com to learn more about what I'm doing. I'm involving sister shows and helping people get other shows off the ground. I'm also offering my podcasting services to you. So if you have a show that you want to get going, and you've thought about podcasting, but you've never really known how to take the plunge, reach out to me. Email me at mediaflintstone@gmail.com, or just like I said, go to fsmpodcastnetwork.com, learn more, and reach out. And I'm in South Florida, but I have the capability to work with you across borders, so do not hesitate to reach out if you are elsewhere. We can still work together, and I would love to help you get your podcast off the ground and off to a great start. And speaking of sister shows, be sure to catch our very first ever sister show called the Vivid Arts Podcast. Vivid Arts, it's a podcast hosted by my friend Eddie from EG Labs, and they connect creative geeks with artists and performers, creative influencers, travelers, and arts and cultural community as a whole, and they're awesome at it. Guests have included artists, muralists, sculptors, theatrical performers, dancers, cultural travelers, museums, charities, galleries. Well, okay, so listen, they're a new show, so they only have a few episodes out yet, but they're on their way, and these are the type of people that they're going to be having. And so they've had some amazing guests so far, but if you have any creativity at all in you, or have a wish for a creative endeavor, please listen to the Vivid Arts Podcast. Check them out on vividartsapp.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Download the CIOS app. Also, they have their Vivid Arts app, which will take you on your own very own personal tour of the outside art available all over the walls of Palm Beach County. It's really cool app. So go check them out and listen to their show on SoundCloud as well. Also, another announcement. I have my birthday coming up in September. I am very excited. I will be turning 25 again. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to be able to do such a momentous milestone over and over again. I am 25 again this year, I promise. Despite how old I've said I am on other episodes. But I'm celebrating my birthday by giving you guys something. I'm having a contest to win your very own Dodo case, which Dodo case makes these really amazing virtual reality cases that work right with your smartphone. So amazing. I mean, they literally transport you into another world. It's pretty awesome. You can ride roller coasters or run around with dinosaurs. They're a lot of fun. So I'll be doing a Dodo case contest for 3 weeks in September, giving away 3 cases, 1 per week. So check that out on Facebook. Go look for the Curve the Cube Facebook page. What else is on my list? Oh, also for my birthday, I'll be having a special episode where I turn the tables and have people ask me questions. So I'll be doing that with a couple awesome, really awesome interviewees. But if you would like your own question answered, please submit it to me at curvethecube@gmail.com. That's CURVE thecube@gmail.com, and I will answer it for you on that episode. I'm really excited about it. But on this episode, I'm more excited because this episode, I get to talk to Claire Bronson, who is a highly accomplished actress, and she's been on some of my most favorite shows, like Resurrection. Rest in peace, Resurrection. It was canceled. Hopefully they resurrected. That was a really bad joke, and I apologize. And also been on The Walking Dead, and I had to ask her whether or not, I mean, come on, there's fake blood and gross stuff everywhere, and they're outside in the thick Atlanta heat with bugs. I couldn't help but ask if that set smells a little bit. I mean, does it? gotta wonder. So you'd be interested to hear what she says. And she also owns her own studio called Drama Inc., and where she guides others on their acting paths. And she's based out of Atlanta. Now, you might be asking, okay, Jemmy, you usually focus on people who are in South Florida, and you are right. Sort of. Really, it's about any people, production projects that have a footprint in South Florida and all the cool things that are going down here. And Claire was actually on the Netflix original series you may have heard of called Bloodline. Now, Bloodline is filmed right here in the Keys, and it's, I got into on the podcast how it wasn't until I was watching it that I realized you just never really see Florida landscapes on television. Like, you see cityscapes all the time, the Miami skyline and that type of thing, but I think the last time I saw the Florida, natural landscape so well displayed was probably, maybe back to the movie Wild Things. I don't know, it's been a while, but it's really neat to see. And she talks a lot about what it was like to be on that set and film down here in the Keys. Well, not here because I'm not in the Keys, but down here in South Florida where the Keys are located. And I want to she was absolutely wonderful. I mean, she was open and gives great tips for pursuing a passion in acting, and she just was great. So you're gonna really love this conversation. Big shout out to our mutual friend Lynn for connecting us. So yay, Lynn! And I want to say this episode, I'll make it short and sweet. This episode is sponsored by Big Brain 2 No Hard Feelings Tattoo Shop. They are led by legendary tattoo artist Chris Blinson. If you rewind back to I believe it's episode 31, you'll hear us talk about what it's like to pursue a career as a tattoo artist. And he has his own shop, and it's phenomenal. And you may also remember Chris from Ink Master. He was a season 6 runner-up for Ink Master. He should have won. I say that every time, and I mean it. But go find him. Look up Big Brain 2 No Hard Feelings. You can go to bigbrain2.com or chrisblinston.com. Find them on social media, and you will be very happy. If you need a tattoo, dude, people, it goes on your body forever, or at least it's extraordinarily painful to get off. So screw that. Go get it done right the first time, and go to Big Brain. And Chris is the best, and he only hires the best. So mention Curve the Cube and you'll get 10% off, and I think that's pretty darn awesome. I also want to do a quick mention of, go to KVJ 5K, please. There's a run happening not that far off from here. I think it's actually in October, but it might be later. I forget. But anyways, it's happening. Yeah, it's October. Clamass by Night, Thursday, October 6th, 7 p.m. KVJ 5K. Good support our little sister charity called Little Smiles. You hear me talk about them a lot. Anyways, follow Curve the Cube all over the interwebs. I would really appreciate some follows, some comments, some subscriptions, most importantly. And that's it. So, for real, shut up already. And sit back and relax and enjoy the 90th episode of the Curve the Cube podcast with Claire Bronson, actress extraordinaire. Enjoy. Curve the Cube will now initiate.
Hello, Claire.
Yes, hey.
Hey, it's Jemmy. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, good. It's so great to speak with you, and I'm so glad that you're able to call in.
I know, me too. It feels like we've been trying to connect for a while now, so yay us.
I know. Yay! It's all about the small accomplishments, right?
Yeah, exactly. They keep me going.
So you had a holdback today, huh?
Yes. Yeah, I did. Both. It was actually nice. My husband and I both had the same callback, and we actually were not for the same role. Actually, we've had those before, which is kind of crazy. But, yeah, we had a callback where we play husband and wife. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Oh, that was a callback. That's awesome.
It'll be a funny movie. So it's just a small part in a feature film. But it'll be funny. And I don't know how much I can talk about. I don't ever talk about my projects or anything like that until like they're actually filming. I mean, not filming, but screening or on television or something like that, because you just never know what you're going to get cut out
right.
of what you're going to take it into. So, yeah. I'm not exactly
That's
superstitious.
True. That's true.
Yeah, I'm not superstitious.
Well, I won't ask you too many details because I don't want to even tempt the humor gods of our movie or whatever. But I mean, it's interesting that you guys are. It is interesting for you guys to be put up for a role where you're husband and wife. So what a stretch that must be.
Yeah. I mean, we joke around that we were just both crazy enough to marry into this line of work. You know, neither one of us married into a 401k or insurance.
Right.
You know, instead we married after. So.
Well, I guess the good part of that is you both can relate to the craziness, unpredictability that must come along with that kind of career choice.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you know, I mean, for better or for worse, we most definitely understand what each other is going through, and the universe seems to always kind of balance us out. When one of us is having a slow period, you know, the other one is thankfully up. It'd be nice to have us both up, you know, at the same time.
Right.
That would be nice.
Right.
But you know, beggars can be choosers. You know, we love what we do. We don't, you know, we don't have. You don't feel like it's work when you love what you do. So that is really an amazing thing.
And that is so important, and it's so the message of what I'm trying to do with this podcast is encourage more people to, you know, not everyone can do it for a living, but whatever that they're passionate about, that they still do it in some capacity. So, you know, and if you are able to do it for a living, it's like you said, it's not work. So it's important for more and more people to pursue that kind of a thing. So thank you so much for coming on and being a shining example.
Oh, absolutely. You know, when I went full time with my acting, we moved back from Los Angeles like 7 years ago, and when I went full time with my acting, I feel like that's when I retired. You know, because I get up and do. I don't dread Mondays anymore, and you know, I every day of the week is something I look forward to. So, thank you for inviting me. By the way, this sounds like an amazing thing.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much. It's been definitely my own passion project. That is for sure. I'm loving every single second I get to spend doing a podcast, and so, you know, for me, it's like, you know, I call the podcast Curve the Cube because it's all about finding your way around and through whatever's in your way to pursue your passions. And so through trying to get the message out, it turns out I'm curving my own cube and pursuing this podcast thing. So it's a fun ride. That's for sure.
That's
Good question. I'm curious because if you're married to an actor and you guys are both pursuing your careers and having successes, I mean, what does come that day if and when you guys have projects on opposite sides of the country or something like that? Have you talked about what you guys are going to do?
Oh, that's already happened. Let me see. Scott has gone out. Scott spent a pilot season a couple years ago out in Los Angeles, so he was gone for like 2.5 months. That was not fun, and an added element of that is the fact that we both dog rescue. I don't know if it's really a choice. Dogs seem to find us, and so at that time, and then he went out like not this past pilot season, but the season before that. So about 1.5 years ago to shoot a film, and he was gone again for like 1.5 months, and and it was amazing for him because he was traveling all around the Southwest, Nevada and Arizona and national parks, and it's just really incredible experience for him. So there's no way I could say no to that. But
right.
And not that my word is the end all be all in this house. No. It's quite the
But I know what you mean. You don't want to like stand in the way.
I couldn't not support him, you know, and so that was a good thing. But at the time, oh my gosh, we had 4 dogs in the house. So for him to be gone and be back here holding down the fort, that was a lot. But what goes around comes around. I'm starting a new show next week, and we know I've gotten the first 3 episodes so far, and I don't know what's beyond that. But I'm going to be traveling to Charlotte, which is not my first time. So, yeah, I mean, we do.
Oh, I was born there, so it wouldn't be my first time either.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, I mean, when we're home together all the time because we have a studio called Drama Inc., which we opened about 3 years ago with 2 of our very good friends, and amazingly enough, it's over 3 years now, and they're still our friends. We're in business with them, and they're still our friends.
Each other.
I know, believe me. So
what is the studio about?
Acting. It's about on-camera acting here in Atlanta. We sweetened our tax incentives back here in 2008. We were actually in LA at the time. We moved back in 2009, and it's been gangbusters ever since. And so if you think about it, LA, New York, markets like that, they've had a long time to build their infrastructure and to support the system that's in place, you know. Atlanta has had 8 years, you know, and we have been growing exponentially. And so Drama Inc. was really kind of part of supporting that, especially for the actors side of it, making sure that we have the talent, not just have the talent, but educate them as to how best to put their best foot forward when they get on set, because that's the only way that we're going to let the other markets know that you can take a risk on us. You can expect bigger things out of us. You can, let us be considered for the larger roles, and we can produce for you. So it's been a really remarkable
Atlanta's been doing some really amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've been doing some really amazing and smart things to attract a lot of people. I mean, one does films in that area, right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Isn't The Walking Dead filmed in that area? Yeah. I know that they've been doing a lot of things there.
Yeah, I mean, lots of movies, television shows. We just had the latest report, and it was $7 billion into the state's economy due to the film industry and everything that it brings to the state. That's an amazing impact on the economy of Georgia.
Huge.
Yeah.
Wow, that's massive.
They really did something right when they wrote these incentives, and I can say that because the 3 people who did, 2 of them are very good friends of ours, and one of them is a casting director / producer here in town who's been working for this market, in this market for a very long time. So, really good people, and extremely knowledgeable and intelligent, and knew how to do it right, because other states have suffered a little bit, I mean, not to point fingers, because I always think that we benefit when you've got a strong community around you, but other states have suffered from maybe things being a little too complicated, or from capping their incentives. Anyway, Hollywood's a business.
I think I just heard that the Keys just toyed with reversing some of the incentives, because they had put forth a lot of incentives too to start some productions down there, like Bloodline, which I know you're familiar with. And I believe I heard that they may have let some things expire, and Bloodline was on the line for a little while there. So I hopefully the Keys learn their lesson and they won't mess anything up, because it'd be really great to have more productions like mine happen down here too. I think it's great that it looks like Atlanta's gearing up to be, the next LA at some point, and I think this would be great for more and more cities to be smart like that.
Yeah, we're 3rd in production behind LA and New York. So I mean that's exciting. And there are new studios opening up left and right. So.
Well, congratulations on yours, and just knowing a couple of the people who helped put those incentives in place explains my next question, because I was going to be like, how, that's pretty remarkable timing if the incentives happened 8 years ago, and you guys developed Drama Inc. 7 years ago for you to have the instinct to go ahead and move forward with a project like that,
Yeah, we moved back 7 years ago, but we opened Drama Inc. just over 3 years ago. So, and it ended up being incredibly good timing, and now we're at the point where we have students who have been with us for years, and we're seeing their successes, and it's amazing. It feeds my soul in a different way, but in an equally amazing way as acting, to help somebody go further down that path towards their dream, their bliss. That's really, really incredible. Anyway, it's good stuff. And similar to what you're doing, I so applaud you for putting this good energy out into the universe, because anything that we can do it's true. Anything we can do to help encourage people out there, to wake up out of a sleepwalking state and really seize their life and do with it what they want to do,
Absolutely.
We don't have to do anything we don't want to do. Yeah.
Right. So I need to take a moment and geek out for just a minute, because you've had your footprint on so many of my favorite shows that,
You're crazy.
Walking Dead, Bloodline, Resurrection. I'm not even joking. I was glued to my television set when Resurrection first started, and so I figured out that you had been on that show, and I was like, she played young Lucille. I remember those scenes. It's
you probably
Enid's mom on. No, I didn't. I swear to God, I remember. I swear to you, I remembered. And to know that, and now I'm catching up on Bloodline, so I don't know if I've caught your scenes yet, but I definitely remember you playing. When you played Enid's mom, I know I'm jumping around a lot, but when you played, because I told you I've had to geek out. When you played Enid's mom on Walking Dead, did you do the scene where they got eaten and all of that too? Was that you, or was that like a stunt person? It broke my mind. Was that you?
Okay, so Walking Dead is, it's one of those cautionary tales that I tell our students and everything, not because, it's a wonderful experience. It's a great group of people. They're a family on that show, in front of, behind the camera, all of that. But, it's the number one television show on TV. And Scott's my husband, and we both knew when it was coming down, when Frank Darabont announced that he was going to be shooting it here in Atlanta, that it was going to be a hit. It was based on the number one black and white graphic novel at the time. So you've got that, you've got that cult following, you've got Frank Darabont, who is Frank Darabont, and I know that, obviously he's not part of the project anymore, but he's an icon. He just is an amazing person, and he's familiar with Atlanta. He's shot here before, which is why he came back here. Which is how Melissa McBride ended up with the project, because she worked with him before and he remembers people. When The Walking Dead came to town, and I got an audition. Well, I auditioned, oddly enough, for Lori's character. It's just crazy. I'm sure I was never in the running for that, but it was fun to just audition for it. But
I can see that, physically, how that would be a good pairing, though. I can see that.
Yeah, well, I was hoping someone else could see it too, but it didn't happen. So I ended up playing Candace Jenner, Dr. Candace Jenner, and I auditioned for the role, and it was a recurring character. And when I got cast, my agent at the time had left the camera rolling, and so he caught my reaction when he told me, because I was in the room auditioning for something else. He caught my reaction, and then he put it out. I think he put it out on Facebook or something like that. But it was. I was over the moon. I was so excited.
Right.
And then my scene got cut. You know,
yeah,
and it ended up being.
I read that you ended up
Yeah.
only just in the pictures on. Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, what a.
It was a bummer. Yeah,
like
and
so
it was. It was the longest episode. It was only 6 episodes that season, if you remember the first season, and it was the longest episode. One of my husband's friends was one of the editors, and he told him later, it wasn't her performance. Tell her it wasn't her performance. It was just a long episode, and so they had to lose a couple scenes. So yeah, that was the first character I played on the show, and I got fan mail. I've gotten fan mail for years because of that character, and then.
No way.
You know, I continued auditioning for it, and then I got cast as Enid's mom, and I signed, you know, a couple of NDAs, and then got my script and saw that everything was OS, off screen. So all of my lines.
What does that mean? Like, what?
It means the camera's not on you. It means you're not. It means you're not recognizable. The camera's not on you. You know, they're getting your knee, your leg, or you're completely off screen altogether. And so, yeah, I mean, that was how it was always intended, which is fine, you know, because I've already been down this road. It wasn't like it was bursting my bubble or anything like that. It was another experience hanging out with everybody on set, and I really do adore those people. And I continue to audition for it, so that's the good news.
Yeah. There you go. But you know, and I have to ask you this question because I don't know if and when I'll have a chance to ask anybody else who is that close to the project. But with a show like Walking Dead and the nature of the show being about zombies and all that other stuff, like I can't help but wonder because I know that they make the blood out of that like sweet syrupy whatever they make it out of. Is there like a different this is gonna be a really weird question, but is there like a different smell on that set than other sets you've been on?
On a set like that?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are better people to ask than me because I mean if you think about it, I spent 2 days on that set, both of which my scenes were I've never been seen on the show except for a still picture. So, you know, I have friends. We have friends who you could ask about this, but I do know we've heard many stories of, you know, I mean, they shoot. They're shooting now, right? They're shot Walking Dead.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. And so, you know, you think about it, the Georgia humid, hot as you know what. Air,
right.
And they're out there. I mean, the first couple of seasons, they were in the like out in the deep woods, in the quarry, and the you know all of that, and it was just the bugs and the heat and the exhaustion and the dehydration. Yeah. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're happy being involved with the project, but. You know, sometimes it's not easy. No. And as far as the smell goes, I don't know if you discern one smell from another when you're dealing with so many at that point, you know, like sweat and bug spray and makeup and sunscreen.
Right, what do you do? I know.
Blood.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's so much going on. What has been a really fun set for you, a really fun project for you? What really sticks out?
Bloodline.
Really? Okay, do tell.
Yeah. Well, when I first, you know, I mean, I did one episode and then I was happy to get brought back to another episode. It wasn't expected. It was really kind of a one and done thing for me. But even that first episode, I knew I was going to be working with Kyle Chandler, and I adore that man. And then to work with him and find out that he's everything that you want him to be and more.
That's so lovely.
Know, it really, yeah. I mean, when I got to set, he was the first of anybody on camera that I met. We got in a transpo together. He was in the front seat, and I was one seat behind him, and he turned around immediately and introduced himself and started talking to me and finding out who I was and welcoming me to welcoming me to the set and letting me know, don't worry about being word perfect. It's not Shakespeare. They're easygoing on this show, and I adore hearing that because I'm not the word perfect kind of gal. I'm always prepared to be if I have to be, but I'm not. I thrive in not worrying about being word perfect. Believe me. Anyway, he just he's self-deprecating. He's self-deprecating. He's a team player. He's talented. He's funny. He just you enjoy hanging out with him. He's just really good people. And I ran my lines over and over and over and over again because I don't get starstruck, but I knew if I was gonna go up on my lines, it would be staring into Kyle Chandler's eyes, trying to remember what my next line was. And my husband's right here listening to me say this, so it's okay. He's a Georgia boy, too. They both went to UGA at different times. They both went to UGA. That's okay. He loves Kyle almost as much as I do.
Oh, that's so funny. So he's, part of the family. No big deal. No big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But then Ben Mendelsohn, working with Ben, working with Norbert Leo Butt, they're all just amazing people in their own right, and the camera captures that. And then, to have Linda Cardellini and Sissy Spacek and Sam Shepard and all of these amazing storytellers.
I can only imagine.
The script is fabulous. The production is so. I feel like they've got their priorities straight. Their number one priority is the storytelling, is capturing what this world is really like. It's not about making sure that every flyaway is plastered to your head or that you look like you just walked out of a salon in every shot. Instead they're like, no, it's hot as Hades. Let
it's
them
nitty gritty.
Yeah, and I love that. I do. I love it, and I think people respond to the show for good reason. And it's. To actually be able to, I can tell you it's the first time I've watched a show that I was in that turned out to be one of my favorite shows. And it's like, and that's the kind of thing that I want. That's what I put out to the universe. I want regular work on a show that puts storytelling number one,
Right, absolutely. And they do, and like I said, I'm still catching up on it, but from the episodes I've seen so far, it's a really well-crafted, what I really appreciate when I'm watching a show, I watch a show for one of two reasons, typically. One, because it's over-the-top ridiculous, because I like zombie movies, shows, or they craft really amazing characters. And I feel like Bloodline has spent and invested so much time, well worth it, in developing really amazing characters. That's what's driving the show for me. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'd say the second thing that's driving me is, I'm sorry?
I was just going to add to that. They're rich, they're layered, and they are incredibly weaved into each other's lives. I mean, this.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no one's all good or all bad. Everyone has these layers. Everyone has different sides of them, and they feel a lot more real that way.
And that's exact. I love that you said that because I've been talking to our students a lot about that these days. There's shows out there. Of course, we've got flawed anti-heroes. That's a very popular thing. But now there's shows that are delving into. We're not going to assign somebody good and bad labels. We're going to toy around with what's in all of us. We're human. We're fallible. I was talking to one of our students today about Penny Dreadful, which is another one of my favorite shows, and I almost cried and had a heart attack when we watched the last episode of season 3, and I found out that it was the last episode. But I love that show for the same reason. I mean, it's a completely different world that they create, but they play around with, what's in all of us. And, humanity is not perfect. Humanity is perfectly flawed, in my opinion, and I love when
I like to think I'm a good person, but I'm sure I could list my flaws on a sheet of paper longer than my arm, and that's what I feel like. I'm real, true characters.
And I was
that
way. Come on.
Way more interesting. Way more interesting.
Yeah.
Because you go from rooting for somebody in the beginning to then that's maybe they finally complete a flashback scene that they've been slowly dripping out of the last 2 episodes, and you're like, oh wait, that's what they do. I don't know if I'm cheering for them anymore. It's really, they do such a good job. They keep you on your toes. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I mean, when you can, okay, so I don't know, I can't. That'll be spoiling it for you. We'll have to do it again when you finish, when you're caught up on Bloodline, because Bloodline, the first season is it's a beautiful slow burn. It's just amazing. And then the second season just, only takes off into the stratosphere even more. So,
right.
To be continued.
I'm so excited. Oh, definitely. It's a promise. It's a promise. And the other thing I really like about the show is, being down here in South Florida, even though I'm not in the Keys, I certainly have spent enough time there. But, regardless, there's a certain feel to South Florida that, until I actually saw it on a TV show that wasn't just like a reality TV show where, it's filmed in South Beach or something, like a show that's really trying to put the essence of Florida into it without being hokey and characterizing it. That's when I realized, like, I've never really seen this on television before. I've never really seen South Florida before. And it's really nice to see our landscapes and not just our cityscapes portrayed, and it's a really beautiful thing. As someone who's down here to witness, I'm really digging Bloodline for sure.
It didn't hurt that it was my favorite location ever to work.
How long did you get to spend down here?
Let me see. I'm trying to. The first episode, I was down for like 5 days or something like that because I shot like. I'm trying to remember 2 or 3 days, and they were spread out. They weren't back to back, and so I had a few. I'm trying to think. I had at least 1 full day off, if not more time off, and so I was so tempted to drive down to Key West, but it would have taken like my entire day to drive down there, like spend an hour and then drive back. And I'm like, all right, so I kind of just hung out a little bit closer to home. What's the first Key? I'm terrible. Is it Key Largo?
Oh my God, I'm the worst Floridian ever because I really don't know.
This is the blind leading the blind. This is great. This is great.
Hey man, I don't tell you. I give myself no excuses. I'm a terrible Floridian.
It's okay. I may or may not have my computer in front of me in case you ask me a question and I have to look it up. I'm not admitting to that. I'm just saying. It's a possibility.
It may or may not be possible. You're so funny. Oh my God. So how do you know my good dear wonderful friend Lynn? She's sung your praises like crazy.
She is my unofficial publicist, I'm just going to say. What's crazy is that we went to school together eons ago. And then, you might have heard of this thing called the Book of Faces that has Facebook that has come about in the last, I don't know, however many years. And so we reconnected that way. And, gosh, she asked me eons ago about, a question about one of her kids wanting to get into acting, and I'm like, oh no, you need to listen. And I wrote like a whole diatribe of what to look out for and what not to get involved in, the red flags and blah, blah, blah. And I think that was like our really first real interaction since school. And we've kept up that way, and we haven't seen each other since we graduated eons ago. But that that needs to happen. I think that needs to be remedied somehow. So yeah, we go way back. How do you guys know each other?
Did you? Well, so we also go back about 2.5, 3 years, and we were involved.
Same as us. We graduated like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, totally. We're all only like 23 years old. She and I were okay, so long story short, our favorite radio station, which I know that she also put you in touch with, the KBJ show, they were being basically given a really short end of the stick, and by a different radio station than they're on now. Love the radio station they're on now, WRMF. And so me and a few other people ran this online campaign, social media campaign, to get them back on the air, and she was a huge part of that. And through that, she and I and a bunch of other really great people just really, really bonded. And we've been fast friends. She's such a wonderful person. It's hard not to be with her. And so, we became fast friends, and she's one of my favorite people now. So that's how we know each other, yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. I really do. I need to somehow figure out in my budget how to just hire this woman as like my PR person or something.
She's fantastic.
I'm pretty sure she would knock down any barriers and just take my career to the next level for sure.
That's just just how she is. She fights for people. She's an incredible human being. I adore her. So shout out to Lynn for sure. Where did you guys go to? Was it high school? Where did you guys go to high school?
Yeah, Fairport High School, upstate New York. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when did you fall in love with? Was it when you were a kid, or did it happen later?
With acting?
Yeah.
Well, it started on the stage when I was little. My mom did community theater when we were growing up, and she dragged us up on the stage. She didn't really have to drag me. For
you're exaggerating just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. For a run of Music Man, and so they handed me a clarinet, and I got a couple of scenes to march around in and have fun. And then I went to school on Monday, and my friends, a few friends would be like, "Hey, I saw you in that show," and kind of caught the bug, and then I did it throughout high school, and I ended up going to something called New York State Summer School of the Arts, which you audition for when you're in high school, and they only take 20 people. I mean, hundreds upon hundreds of people audition all over New York State, and
wow,
if not more, I don't know. And I was really incredibly. It was a huge gift to be able to get into that program the first time I auditioned, and
wow.
It was that
Good
was
for you.
Incredible training, and then I decided to go to school for it, so I continued in college, and after college I decided that I was going to head south to a bigger city with warmer weather and more social economic opportunities. And so I couldn't go to New York because I would never have been able to support myself as a server. It just wouldn't have happened. And I wasn't ready to go.
I was a waitress a lot, and I sucked at it every time, so I hear you.
Oh my gosh, I lasted 2 days as a server. It was a comedy club, and on the second night they put me on the floor, and I was terrible.
Oh,
I mean, there was a table. I mean, I wasn't supposed to be on the floor. I was supposed to be training, but someone didn't show up, and so they put me on the floor. And there was a table I didn't get to until after the show was over. It was terrible. It was awful.
Oh, no.
And I'm the kind of person that I know what I like and I stick to it. So knowing all these different drinks and how they're garnished and what they get served with and it was awful.
Yeah,
so,
that was the thing I was the worst at too, was the alcoholic beverages. I'm great at drinking them, terrible at serving them.
Well, then after, you and I both. Okay. But then after the second night, they said, oh, wait until next weekend. This guy, Chris Rock, is going to be here, and he's hysterical. He loves picking on the servers. He's going to make fun of you, just try not to look. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. Peace out. See ya. So that was it. I quit. All because of Chris Rock. So,
oh my gosh.
So that was my long-lived career as a server.
When you're accepting your first Emmy, that you have Chris Rock to thank for you not pursuing your career as a waitress.
Exactly. Thank you. This goes out to Chris Rock. I want to give thanks to my inspiration. So I moved down to Atlanta because, oddly enough, they had just had the Olympics here, and a friend of mine had just been down here for Freaknik when we still had Freaknik, and he came back and said, "Oh my God, I love Atlanta. It's amazing, blah blah blah." And I'm like, you know what? Atlanta sounds good. That was it. I'm like the kind of gal that I sit on a decision for a while, and then once I've made the decision, boom, that's it, and I follow my gut. And so I came down to Atlanta, and it ended up being really, really amazing. It's shaped my life in many ways. I decided to really pursue acting down here. That's when I made the decision when I moved down here, and I met my husband down here, and I have an incredible support network and started this amazing business. So, yeah.
That's great.
I know that's a very long-winded answer to your question, what made you pursue acting?
Well, no. Chris Rock and all boils down to Chris Rock. That's awesome. Well, as we kind of start to wrap up a little bit, I definitely want to circle back to something because so I have a son. I have a 4-year-old, and I don't know if it's just him being an overdramatic toddler-ish kid, or if it's because he always says he wants to be an actor. Well, a superhero or an actor, one or the other. And that's when he grows up.
Why not
and
both?
He's constantly right, exactly. And he's constantly acting out. I mean, I could probably list about 10 movies that he knows at 4 years old from start to finish, and he will act out the entire movie, and it is hysterical. And so, if that ends up being something he does want to pursue, and I know you have your studio and you work with kids, and you gave Lynn a whole diatribe, as you said. So can you pull out a couple of pieces of tips for parents? Yeah.
Yes, and you keep in contact with me because it's something that I'm very happy to share and be a source of information for you as this goes along.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Oh, of course. It sounds like he is genuinely here. Okay. First of all, the impetus for getting into a career like this as a child has to come from the child. It cannot be something that the parents are living vicariously, because I've been around that way too much, and it's an awful thing to be on set with a child who is telling you, I had a play date with my best friend today, but my dad told me that I had to come to work today because my mommy wanted her, whatever paid for, fill in the blank. And I'm not kidding you, that happened to me.
That's terrible.
This little girl who's turning it on the moment the camera rolls, but in between she's moping around because she's thinking about the play date that she's missing. So number one, it has to come from the child, and you have to be supporting their dreams, because it's hard. This is hard, and if there's something else that you want to do with your life, do it. It sounds like a cliche,
and it makes you so vulnerable too. It's a hard thing to do, but it makes you so vulnerable. Yeah,
you're putting yourself out there, and there's no more rejection in any other career than acting, I think.
Right.
What other career do you interview for a job every few days, if not every day?
Right.
You know, I mean, you're interviewing constantly. You're hearing no way more than you're ever hearing yes, and that's in the best of careers. You know, and so to have a child subjected to that, this really has to be his or her dream, number one. Number two, start out with theater. Start out with training them, with learning the craft. That's really important. It should not be about wanting to be on Disney or, you know, wanting to be on Nickelodeon or their you know, because that stuff honestly is really kind of canned and churned out. And in my opinion, here we go. I'm never going to work at Disney ever. But
we can edit it.
You know, I mean,
no one listens to the podcast anyway.
You want them to be learning like the real the craft and the nitty gritty and exercise and building those muscles the way that they should be built, and I think theater is really just the best training ground. It really is, and that's a good place to start. And then when you get to the point when they are wanting to or needing to audition for on-camera stuff and you're needing to find representation, never, ever, ever pay anybody for representing you or your child. The only time that agents ever get paid is when you get paid. The only exception is when an agency takes you on and maybe you have to pay a nominal fee to get entered into their database or something like that. But if you go and interview with an agency who says, okay, for this amount of money, I will start submitting you for auditions, or hey, these headshots are okay, but we really like you to get whole new headshots, and by the way, you need to go to this headshot photographer, or you need to go here and get this done. You know, anyone reputable,
like you're their part of their financial factory or something.
Yeah, exactly, and they're getting some sort of kickback from sending you to this photographer or this person. And ask around, ask questions, you know, educate yourself. If you're looking for training, if you're looking for classes and people to work with and coaches to work with, look them up, do your homework, always. IMDb Pro. IMDb, period. But then IMDb Pro helps you to investigate people and to really kind of dig deeper into projects that are coming to town and connections and who people have worked with and who they're repped by and all this jazz. So that's a really invaluable tool. But, you know, you just kind of have to protect yourself because it is an industry where the vultures can move in rather easily. So
I imagine, and thank you for all those tips, very certainly.
Of course. And if this is something that you want to do, there are people out there that will love helping you do it. And you just got to find those right people. Find your support network. Find your tribe. Because they're out there.
Right.
They're out there.
And I definitely want to also be sure I touch, if you can, I don't know how much you can say, but you said that you're starting a new show. You start filming a new show next week?
I am, and I signed an NDA for it, so I don't know exactly how much I can say. I can say I'm heading back to Cinemax. I think I can say that. I'm heading back to Cinemax.
Okay.
So, I'm excited about it.
I will be looking out for it.
Yeah, and we should keep in touch, and, you know, maybe we can do this again sometime after I'm allowed to talk about the project. So that would be fun.
You betcha. I'm definitely going to hold you to that for sure.
Okay. This has been amazing. Thank you so much.
This has definitely been so much fun. I can't thank you enough for calling in and being on the podcast. It's something I've been really looking forward to. And, you know, when you mentioned that whole, was it Kyle Channing? Who were you talking about when you said that he was everything that you wanted him to be? Kyle, It was Kyle Channing. I thought so. Well, I can honestly tell you that this conversation has been everything I wanted to be and more. And you've been a joy and a delight to speak with. And, you've been great. And I'm going to sing your praises right back to Lynn and tell her thank you so much for you know, putting us in touch. And, you know, I wish you nothing but the absolute best and success, both for your own studio and for your upcoming projects. I think you're gonna be great.
Thank you. And hug on Lynn for me, please, because you can do that. Hug on her for me. Tell her thank you so much, and I will do that myself for hooking us up, because it has just been an absolute delight, and you are somebody who just puts positivity out there into the universe. So you are one of my heroes. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Would you do me one last little favor and sign off the podcast? It's really easy.
Okay.
All you have to do is say, however you would like to say it. Hey, this is Claire Bronson, and this has been Curve the Cube.
Okay. Hey, guys, this is Claire Bronson, and this has been Curve the Cube.
Yay! Virtual high five! Thank you so much, girl. Listen, you have a wonderful evening, and when you're down here in Florida, I better get that hug in person.
Yes, I really, yet another reason I need to make it down to Florida to see you guys. So thank you, lady.
That'd be great. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
You have successfully curved the cube.